Welcome back to Point Blank. We have right now a comment on our earlier segment before the break on abortion. Xue Ying says, abortion? Singapore fertility is already so low. It's really sad to see abortion is still relatively high.
Sorry.
Okay. Well, you might have to scroll down a bit. Yep, that's right. Still relatively high in a first world country. But of course, there are some practical reasons why people carry out abortion. Primarily, the child may be born deformed. So why let the baby be born and suffer in time to come? It may be very painful for the parents, but I guess they have no reason not to abort the child.
That's true, but you know, according to Dr. Lim earlier on, when I was speaking to him about this very same problem, what he said was that you know, he has come across patients, you know, who actually told him that they would still carry on with the pregnancy, they would still give birth to that child, even though despite knowing that there is a high possibility that the child might come out suffering from Down syndrome and all that, or becoming deformed and stuff. And the thing is, looking back 3 months later, all right, after the child is born, 3 months later, in retrospect, when he asked them, you know, did you actually regret your decision to bring this baby into this world? They actually said no, you know, not at all. So I guess it's really about different perspectives, you know. What do you think? Like, would you still go for it?
I actually personally know of couples who have been in these situations and never regretted for a moment. But at the same time, I think we can't be judgmental because it is definitely not an easy choice to make.
That's true.
While we may say some are teenagers and some carelessly make the decision, there are also some who I think struggle over the decision and make it a tough decision.
That's right.
It's hard. It's a really grey area that nobody can say what is right and what is wrong. Well, except for, you know, it's really in the plate of the parents themselves. It's a tough decision. It's a tough choice.
And it's really sad that, you know, you see society frowning upon single moms out there when, you know, these folks are, I mean, these women are so brave to go ahead with the pregnancy and, you know, despite all the pressures from society, from left, right and center, from their parents and everything, you know, they still choose to go ahead with the pregnancy and not abort. But, well, yeah, so.
Yeah, well, keep your comments rolling in. We'd like to know what you think, right?
Now,
but next, moving on.
Hot, raunchy, and oh-so-saucy.
Nope, it's not Bao Chomli we're talking about. We're talking about men's magazines right now. And that should set the men's hearts aflutter and women's alarm bells a-ringing. Or not, according to what Razor TV found out.
Apparently, women read men's magazines too, never mind the semi-nude women on the cover of magazines like FHM, Maxim, all the way to no-holds-barred, full-on porn royalty Playboy.
Well, covered extensively in the media, Playboy Indonesia raised so much controversy when it premiered in April 2006, even though there was no nudity in this edition.
Well, it was the first Playboy to be published in a Muslim country, but violent protests caused the owner to be evicted from the building where the publication was located.
That's right. Men's magazines are famously controversial, of course, with opposing factions supporting social mores versus those asking for more openness in the media.
Right. So what do Singaporeans think about the value of men's magazines, or will they even admit that they do read these magazines? Eva finds out. Let's take a look.
These are just some of the few men's magazines that are available from men today. But the question is, are our men actually learning anything from these magazines? Let's find out. What did you find interesting in these magazines? Or why do you read these magazines?
I read it for, like, they teach you exercises. Gym exercises. That's all.
We have a lot of other things to do, to worry about.
Yeah? So you don't even look at it for the visuals, for the gadgets, or for the cars and the women?
You know, we have like internet and stuff, so we don't really have to buy the expensive magazines to read, to find out about gadgets and stuff.
You don't know about the magazines, so you've never seen these magazines before?
No.
You've never seen Men's Health before? You've never seen Torque before?
I'm not into magazines.
Have you heard of FHM? So you've never bought a men's magazine?
No.
Not at all?
Honestly, no.
So what kind of content do you look for in these magazines?
Mainly nutrition, bodybuilding, fashion.
You don't look at it for the women?
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
So it seems that the men aren't all that interested in men magazines. If so, who are buying these magazines? Like, which men's magazine did you read?
So I have FHM.
FHM?
Yeah.
Okay, so why did you read FHM? Like, what? Yeah, why?
Just different variety of topics
Right.
compared to like a females magazine.
Really? Okay, so what is like in men's magazines that you think is different and more interesting than women's magazines?
Well, usually men's magazines are like also like overseas type of magazines where they have silly jokes which you don't usually have in females magazine.
What do you think they talk most about in men's mags?
Girls.
How is men's magazines different from the way they...
I guess there's not much of a difference actually because, okay, we women want to know how do we snack that guy and men want to know how they want to snack us women. So there's not much of a difference actually. It's just that maybe their magazines are more explicit in terms of words, maybe. I just want to know why the hell they want to rock our socks off. No, it appeals to girls as well.
Have you read men's magazines before?
No,
No?
not really.
Not really or no?
Yes.
Keeping fit, keeping healthy, yeah, and also like guys with nice body and stuff like that.
Although both sexes seemed almost embarrassed to admit that they read men's magazines, more girls than guys admitted to reading these magazines. But when it came to the question of substance, both sexes said that men's magazine reads are more for leisure and fun than anything else.
Well, you wouldn't think that we were interested in hosting our show since we're reading men's magazines.
We're too engrossed.
Yeah, too engrossed.
This is the first time I'm actually checking out these men's magazines.
Don't bluff.
I'm serious, really.
Actually, me too.
But
I don't really
do
look
you
at
even
men's
buy
magazines.
that? Like most of the guys didn't actually like know what FHM was
I mean,
or
who
like some
really
of them.
who are buying the magazines then? Maxim has a healthy circulation of 45,000. So where's the 45,000?
Aliens from Mars then.
Yeah, I know. Look at that. Look at the way they clamped up. No one is willing to admit. Well, benefit of doubt, but no one's willing to admit that they read them for exercise. What, for gym exercise?
Yeah, that was crazy.
Well, yeah. So what's the appeal of men's magazines really? Do men actually learn anything from them?
What better way to find out than from the horse's mouth? We spoke to seasoned editor of Men's Mags, and yep, he did FHM, Maxim Player, and he's working on a new upcoming magazine as well.
We get the inside story from Storm Star blogger Dylan Tan. Let's take a look.
I think a lot of people think working in the men's magazine means you hang out with the girls all the time and all
No?
that. Well, that's the truth. You don't actually hang out with the girls,
Really?
It doesn't actually make you Hugh Hefner or anything. No, it doesn't. There's actually a lot of work behind it. Plus, being editor, you don't actually get to write. So I sort of miss exactly. Yeah. Most of the time, you're subbing someone else's work or you're kind of managing a team.
Sort of.
Well, you're firefighting most of the time, right? And then you're out meeting advertisers, potential advertisers. You're thinking about how you want to develop your brand.
You've had a long-standing, tenure as an editor of so many men's magazines. What have you noticed to be, the changing trends and also the current trends now for men's magazines? Okay. Where is it going?
I think it's interesting because when I was working on FHM when I first started in '99, we were the only men's magazine in the country. I think FHM was launched in Singapore in 1997. Back then, it was the first men's magazine. It was quite something. I think people were quite excited about it. And I think the reason it's still very, very popular today because it's such a strong brand, and I think back then there was no competition. It was fairly easy. I could get away with a lot of foreign content. I'll do up to like 10 covers with a foreign star on it, and then 2 local ones. But I think with the competition and all, I think in 2001 probably New Man started in Singapore, and they suddenly we had to up the game. I think the need to actually put more local stuff became a bit more apparent. And it's good because ever since then, I mean, you know, there's so many in the last, I don't know, 7-8 years. There's so many more new men's magazines in Singapore now. So all of us are trying to up our game. The difficult part for me was because I moved from FHM to Maxim. I had to up my own game, and then from Maxim to Play, I had to up my game again. And then now in this new magazine I'm working on, I'm gonna have to try something.
What do these magazines offer men?
What
do they offer?
I think they offer what it does is it offers men bite-sized information. Obviously, this is not, you know, the thing about magazines is it takes a month a month to produce. A lot of time we're working about 2 months ahead, so we're not going to be able to compete with stuff that's online or online websites or anything like that. What we can do, of course, is with the magazine. We're trying to engage the readers in ways that say a website can't. You know, and the thing, a lot of people have asked me as well that do you think publishing is a sunset industry? I'm not sure about that. No, I think you know, magazines don't need batteries. You know, if you take a mobile phone or a computer,
but it needs staying power though.
Well, it needs staying power, and I think you know when you get on a plane or you're on the can in the toilet or something. Most of the time, people go back to a book, a newspaper, or a magazine. I think magazines are definitely here to stay. I think a men's general interest title for guys, you know, a lot of guys have got short attention span, right? I mean, football is a 90-minute game.
That way?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think we can read more than 5 minutes. You know,
I don't think so.
I don't think we can manage words that are more than 4 syllables or something.
You think so, Celine? You have a boyfriend, do you think so?
Does he read these magazines?
Not that I know of.
Because you don't allow him to?
Yeah, like looking at all these men's magazines, I have this general feel that it's all about women and more women. How is Maxim different from FHM? For
I think on the surface it looks the same. For the mere fact that if you put a woman on anything, it's gonna move. It's gonna sell. I think you know, if you look at a magazine like Talk. It's got a car, but it's got a girl standing in front of it as
Always.
well.
Yeah.
Always. To be really, really honest and blatant about it, I think sex sells. You know, not explicitly, but I think sex has in sex appeal. If you look at a lot of advertising, it centers around women, even though the product may not be targeted at women. But it's because you put something that's attractive, fronting your product. It's going to work a lot better than putting a ugly guy, you know, on it.
Geeky guy.
Yeah, exactly. That sort of stuff don't work. A lot of advertising as well. I mean, magazines are sort of like advertisements, right? I mean, the best advertisements are the funny ones. I think with a lot of lads magazines like Maxim and FHM, the formula revolves around women and humor.
Well, the thing is that men's magazines are enjoying the sometimes, the pride of being, you know, almost bordering on soft porn and things like this lah.
But I'll say it's tame actually. This is tame compared to what.
Dylan says this is tame.
Yeah, this is tame compared to what you get if you sort of Google naked women or you know, hot young girls. You're gonna end up getting a lot more raunchier stuff. I think what these magazines do is they sort of give unknown girls a sort of platform to sort of express themselves, launch their careers. If you look at the magazine, a lot of times the girls who appear are sort of tied into, you know, probably a new product that they're launching, you know, be it their own line of lingerie or if they've got a new movie or if they've got a new TV series coming out.
I'm being a devil's
sure
here right now. But, you know, people sometimes have problems with, you know, the exploitation of women and their bodies. And I know, you know, and I know that sex appeal sells. Sex sells, of course, and it makes millions of dollars. But the thing is that, you know, is it really necessary for this to be the cover of men's magazines so that men can buy them?
I think on the flip side, if you ask anybody who's been on the covers of this magazine, I don't think they've done it at gunpoint. A lot of times they're actually more than comfortable, you know, wearing. I mean, if you go down to Siloso Beach on the weekends now, tons of girls in bikinis. I mean, it never was the case. I mean, when I was working in FHM in the early days, it was difficult to try and convince. One of the reasons I didn't use lots of local celebrities on the cover was because it was difficult to try and get a local girl to sort of shoot for men's magazines. These days,
to sort of, to the bare essentials.
Yeah, these days, there's just so many girls who want to be on the cover of a magazine. If you don't put them on the cover of a magazine, you'll take a hot picture of themselves, stick themselves on the blog, and there you go. I mean, these girls are celebrities suddenly.
So we're sort of seeing parallel to the evolution of men's magazines, the same evolution in society and culture as well, where it's more open.
It is. It's become a lot more open.
To strut around in bikinis and more willing to be expressive with their bodies.
Not just bikinis, but I think if you look at the blogs of some of these girls, I mean, some of the stuff in there that would make my mom blush, that would make me blush.
Yeah, I remember that blog about this young girl selling her underwear and stuff like that.
Exactly. These the kind of stuff that sort of signify the change in society, people's mentality, the mentality of the young, the kids these days. I don't think it's right. I don't think it's a good thing personally. But I think at the same time to sort of say that this is sort of exploitation of women. It's a little bit. It's a bit of a sweeping statement, I think.
Like I said, it boils down to demand and supply at the end of the day.
Exactly, right. I mean, these girls, they take raunchy pictures of themselves and they post it up on their blogs. Stuff that we won't even be able to.
It's true,
publish.
Demand, but the whole demand and supply theory is really a chicken or the egg sort of thing. So we know that the media is influential. We know. So, do you think that things like men's magazines or films with that sort of sex appeal, selling sex appeal, do you think things like that for you will be men's magazines? So I don't rain on your parade. I'm being devil's advocate again, but do you think it perpetuates that sort of a more superficial sort of culture where bodies are more important than content? Maybe
I think I think this putting a girl in a bikini or a really attractive looking girl in a bikini is kind of a door opener for people to sort of read. I mean, if you look at a magazine, say like Playboy, I mean, the tagline for Playboy is entertainment for men, and a lot of people actually pick it up for the articles. That's why there's always a saying, "I read Playboy for the articles," and that's kind of the sort of
who reads Playboy for the articles?
People who like to read, I guess. Okay. The girls just happen to be there.
Actually, have you actually witnessed an increase in female readership of this?
I think so. I think a lot of girls like to look at other girls and comment. It's nice, good comments, bad comments. But like back to what I was saying earlier on, women read more magazines, and I think women are generally quite tired of reading the same women's magazines that come out month in, month out. It's always about shopping or whatever,
cosmetics.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of women. I think up to 10 to 15% of men's magazines readers are actually women, and I know of a lot of women who actually buy these magazines for their boyfriends as well because they enjoy it.
Yes. Well, what do you think of the interview we just had about the issues about men's magazines? Just keep your comments rolling in. We have so many comments already. So, yeah. Well, it's that time of the hour where we give prizes today for your comments. And we have seen so many today, didn't we, Celine?
That's right. And there's one from Sam Seng Kia. All right. You get a LTEC Lansing speaker system worth $200. That's for suggesting new outlets for freebies, right? He was saying that you get to read free magazines at the petrol kiosk. There's no need to buy. And,
but petrol kiosks have a no-browse policy sometimes. Huh?
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah. But not the one that's close to Newton Circus. I think there's one. There are quite a few, actually. They do allow that. Yeah. But anyway, thanks, everyone. Keep those comments and contributions coming in as we have more prizes to give away.
So, we have come to the end of the show today. Sadly, we have to leave you, but we'll be back tomorrow with more burning issues.
Call us, email us, SMS or MMS, or even Skype us to tell us what you think or if you've got a burning issue you want to talk about on Point Blank.
In the meantime, we'll leave you with a raiserism of the day. Take it away, Celine.
Don't judge a book by its cover, and with men's magazines, it certainly seems so, with a lot more in it than just pictures of beautiful women.
And we have been Point Blank with you, so see you tomorrow, same time, same place.
Goodbye.